In the Time of Monsters, by Possum Creek Games, is a tactical tabletop RPG set at the end time, Ragnarok, where the old world was dying and a new world was struggling to be born. It's a time of monsters. It's also a time where the greatest of the warriors shall emerge. In a time when violence is constant and at such a massive scale, the only way to survive is to cheat death herself. To play in the Time of Monster, or shortened to TOM, you gonna want a whole bunch of different numbered dices or an online dice roller, and a physical calculator, and trust me on this, you will need it, because sometimes, the damage formula you get isn't just an addition, or multiplication, it can also involve goddamn exponent. Each character, your heroes, definition correction is required, and your opponent, have 3 important stats, body, mind, and soul, and each increase in number is exponentially more powerful than the one before, which should explain the ridiculous damage you could get with them. In combat, turn order isn't solely determined by how many people there are on the grid square battlefield, but also what speed they have chosen to perform action. The fastest is quick, followed by full, then slow action. Quick action is obviously quick and could be used as a reaction, but it might not be dealing much damage. If you perform a slow action, you can probably perform an intense geological survey on the map, but you might also easily get interrupted. And that's about it on the combat mechanic. There's no hit or miss, you just do it. It's simple at its most basic, but as you can probably tell, the characters are the details that bring complexity in this TTRPG. In TOM, you as the players, can choose 8 different characters to play as: the God's Usurper who took Thor's hammer, the Troll beneath the mountain that can literally move mountain, the Ice Witch who can bring the winter, the Traitor Valkyrie that always strike true, the Apocalypse Seer who is living up to their title, the Helkin Assassin whose death barely slows them down, the Elfin Outcast long to return to paradise, and the Knight of Nimue that will fulfill their fate. As hinted by the synopsis, each character has a way to, in a way, survive, by cheating death, and each one does it differently that ultimately ties back to how they would work in combat. Funniest example I would use to demonstrate just how different each character cheat death is to tell you about the Troll beneath the mountain. This probably man-eating Troll King can wear a crown that gives them 10 million health, plus 12 arms each with their own health, meaning the enemies might target your arm and thus leaving your main health alone, who also has a technique to regenerate half of your health and arms back. This is the most fragile character you can pick. The God's Usurper has Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, which lets you absorb all the dices rolled in an attack against you into the hammer, and when you smash someone with the hammer, you can take all those dices and supercharge your attack with it. You even have 2 techniques where you take attacks from others to add more dices to your hammer. However, take too many dices, the hammer explodes everyone, including you. Also, when wielding the hammer, the Nephilim that was once Thor might also pursues you ceaselessly, and that's a big problem. The Traitor Valkyrie also used a similar mechanic. The Ice Witch has wards that can take any amount of damage and can regenerate them. The Apocalypse Seer, being someone that can see the future, will take only 1 damage from any attack no matter what. The Helkin Assassin literally cannot die and will reconstitute their body the next morning. The Elfin Outcast dies at 0 health just like any other characters, but start at negative health and therefore just cannot die to any normal attack, except for a couple specific situations, and the Knight of Nimue will absolutely not fail before they can achieve the destiny of their blade, even if an attack disintegrated their body, and then they just die after achieving it. It's weird things like this that constantly remind me why I love TTRPG so much. Sometimes it's the vibe, sometimes it's the theme, and sometimes, it's the math. It's just so experimental, refreshing even. And you do feel godlike when playing as these characters, especially in the rare moment where you get to unleash a slow action and do damage so large you can't even count the digits with your fingers. Each of these techniques also has a sign that describe how the techniques might look or feel like, and some powerful ones even leave narratively lasting effect, like how God's Usurper's final technique causes thunderstorm to roar even days after the battle. Each of these characters are also more than just combat technique. You can pick their background, giving them reasons why they want to delay or hasten the apocalypse, and they all also have abilities and items of great power that might have powerful narrative effect, which is where the system of stories comes in, the narrative side of TOM. On this side, there's no rules, at least mechanical ones. After all, Norse mythology contains stories of a giant snake that can surround the world, that one time Thor almost drank the ocean, and also when Loki turned into a horse and also gave birth to 3 children. It's God things, they can just do that. Over here, there's no logic, besides the one adhered to the stories your group is telling. There's a couple constants to guide your group through this form of storytelling, but for the most parts, the story your group weave are the one you think that should be the most fitting, or the most interesting. And of course, there can't be hero without foes, from peoples, beasts, other heroes, monstrosities, and even the goddamn all-fucker himself. As you can see, some of them can be quite challenging. Have fun smashing your calculator. And that's about it on In the Time of Monsters, a tactical combat TTRPG that requires you to break out the calculator to whack people in Ragnarok. I have been eyeing this book for a long while, waiting for a day when it's fully completed, then I can get a chance to fully review it. Instead, almost as if the book is living up to its theme, this TTRPG is struggling to be born, to be completed. Its current state might even be its permanent state. It hasn't been updated since forever, but still, it is a beautiful experimental work. I just want to get a chance to talk about it even if it in this incomplete state. Anyway, you can get it now on itch.io. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.